Hello, I'm Philippa and welcome to Growing with Marshalls. Now I don't know about you, but I really love tomatoes, and the great thing about tomatoes is that they come in all different shapes and sizes. You can get these lovely big ones, split them in half, stuff them and put them in the oven for a nice slow roast. There's these lovely little tomato ones here, but my favourites are these little tiny ones that you get. The little plum ones, the little cherry ones. They're really sweet and juicy. They're great to just nip off your plant when you're walking by in the garden, or just sort of pinch one out the fridge when you've harvested them. So let's have a look at how we're going to sow our tomato seeds. I like to use these little modules. They're really fun, they're really cute, aren't they? The great thing about these is you can put an individual seed into each one of these little depressions here. So you've got all those tomato plants, and remember, they're very easy to germinate tomatoes given the right conditions. The first thing we need to do is to put some compost in here. So this is special seed compost. It's not multi-purpose compost, it's specially for growing seeds, and it's a lot sort of grittier and just got the right fertilisers in here for the seeds to germinate. So let's just pick it a little bit up here and put it into the modules, scoop it up, just smooth it over a little bit, and then if you just gently tap it down on the bench, just gets rid of all the air bubbles in there, which is much better for when you come to watering. And then if you get another one exactly the same size and just lightly press it onto the top there, the great thing about that is that it's just smoothed everything down, giving you a nice good surface for sowing your seed. And before you start to sow your seeds, what you need to do is to water the container. The reason you do this now is because if you water it after you've sowed all the seeds in the centre of each little square here, that the water will make them disperse a bit, which is not so good, and you'll get plants ending up in all sorts of very strange corners here. And if you water it now, compost is nice and moist, and it makes things a lot easier. So once you've watered your container and it's drained, you've got all the excess water out of it, it's not too wet underneath here, put it down on a flat surface, and then we need to sow our seeds. Now tomatoes come in two different types. The first type is for growing inside a greenhouse. They have to be trained up, stakes, and you have to be very careful how you pinch things out so they go nice and tall. But if you haven't got a greenhouse, don't worry, you can still grow tomatoes because you can grow these little tumbler ones outdoors. And these are fantastic for containers. You can even grow them in hanging baskets, so whatever size of your space, there's no excuse not to grow tomatoes. If you look at the packets of tomatoes, they've got all the growing instructions on here. So it's telling us what time to sow it, what to do with them, and when to transplant them outside if they're going outside. So when you open your packet, just cut the top off. Be careful not to cut off all that important growing information. And inside your main packet, you'll find another little packet of seed. It's a special foil wrapped packet. Keeps all the seed nice and fresh, so that when you open it up, it's pretty well guaranteed that these are all going to germinate for you. Now, you can feel the seed at the bottom, they're all sort of bumpy. Some of them are small, some of them are big. Tomato seeds are quite small. It's a good idea just to tap your little packet on the table so that all the seed falls down to the bottom before you cut things open, because you don't want to lose any of your seed, do you? And cut it open, and inside is your seed. Just gently tap it at the bottom so you get them all into one corner. Now, the great thing about hands is that they are the perfect container for sowing seeds. If you just cup your hand very lightly, it gives a little depression there, which is perfect for putting your seeds in there. So you just lightly tap them into the palm of your hand, just put your packet down. So before I sow the seed, it's a little tip just to get these tiny little seed onto there, make things easier for you. If you just get the end of a little plant marker and put your seed onto there, they're a little bit tiny and fiddly, and then you can easily put them right into the middle of your compost area. It's a lot easier than trying to pick these little seeds up by your hands. So once you've got all the modules filled, you just need to cover them up very lightly with a little bit more compost. You can use vermiculite as well, which is a man-made material, and it's a lot lighter than the seed compost, but seed compost is fine. Seeds need a bit of darkness to germinate, that's why you're doing it. Don't want to cover them up too much, just really sprinkle a tiny bit into each module, make sure the seed's covered up. And then once you've covered everything up, again, just lightly tap it down again, and you're ready to place your little seeds into a windowsill propagator. So I'm just going to put my little module here into this little contraption here. This is a windowsill propagator. It's just the perfect size to put in a nice sunny windowsill. Just fit snugly in there with my other seedlings, which are coming on nicely. Just put the lid on. This just keeps all the moisture inside, which is perfect to get things started off and growing. Once things get to this height, I think next week I'll take them out and pot them on and put them out in the garden or keep them in the greenhouse. And this fits perfectly on my windowsill, so that's where it's going to go. So here we are in the greenhouse, and as you can see my tomatoes are coming on really well. I've planted them in this lovely deep grow bag, which is sort of got a plasticky coating on it, so it's great for keeping all the moisture in. And it's useful to remember that tomatoes are very hungry plants, so once they start to set flower like this, they're called trusses, you need to feed them quite regularly with tomato food at least once a week. Check the information on the back as to how frequently you need to feed them. So in the greenhouse with the grow bag, this grow bag can go outside as well. These indoor tomatoes are also called cordon tomatoes, and the reason for that is that, as you can see, we're training them all up, one single stem here. And to keep it nice and sort of upright and straight and to put all that energy into producing some lovely tomatoes, we need to do something called pinching out. That sounds very technical, but it's very easy to do. As you can see, where you've got your main stem here and the leaf joint, you've got another little leaf joint trying to sort of grow out between the two of them, and you literally have to pinch this out with your fingers just to take it out of there, to put all the energy into making lovely trusses here. It's very easy to do, you just nip it like that and it comes out. So there you go, lots of information and tips on how to grow tomatoes from seed. It's really very easy, so have a go, see how you get on. Hope everything works out for you. And remember, all the bits I've shown you today, from the seed to the windowsill propagator to the lovely grow bag, you can get that all from Marshalls online to help you get gardening. So lots of luck, happy gardening, and I'll see you again soon.